Hey friend, welcome to the Halfway to Dead podcast. I'm your host, Jen Lovell. Listen, you and I have reached that age where we are done with the bullshit. We know that midlife is our chance to flip the script and experience life on our own terms. It's time to reconnect with our higher selves and reclaim our inner peace. Are you ready with an open heart and an open mind? Awesome, you're in the right place. Hop in and ride shotgun with me on this midlife spiritual journey. Hey everybody, thanks for coming. If this is your first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. If you've been on this journey with me for a little while, welcome back. Thanks for coming. I love all you guys. So listen, today I interviewed Lisa Luna. Lisa is a certified breathwork and meditation guide. She is dedicated to guiding individuals to authentically and safely connect to self through mindful self-care practices. She is passionate about sharing breath and meditation by meeting others where they are and nourishing the internal love and light that exists uniquely within each of us. Oh, I just adore Lisa, you guys. She's one of those people that, I feel like I've met like my lost soul sister. She's just so calming and easy to be around and talk to. And I hope that comes through today as you listen. So today we're exploring breath work. So breath work, or the practice of controlled breathing exercises, has been gaining significant traction, both as well a wellness trend and a deeply impactful therapeutic and spiritual technique. So in this episode, we break it down. We break down what breathwork is. We discuss its origins, all the different types you can do, different methods, and we dive into the science behind why it's so effective. We also share some practical breathwork exercises that you can try at home. And Lisa and I both kind of share some experiences we've had while doing breathwork. And she gets really vulnerable and shares a lot of her story too. So make sure you listen all the way through to this one. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and join Lisa and I as we discover the power of our own breath. Let's get started. Hey, Lisa.
Hey.
Welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So here's how I came across Lisa. Let me just tell you how I came across her. So I was interviewing a different guest on the show, you guys, and she mentioned, you need to talk to Lisa Luna. We must have been talking about breath work. Okay. And I was like, okay, no, I don't know her. I said, but I'm definitely going to check it out. So then I did what we all do. And I did a quick Facebook creep because I like to put a name with a face. I don't even really care about seeing what all anyone's posted. I just like a name to a face. And then we have something in our town that a lot of the local spiritual kind of woo-woo-y community gets together, and it's like connect and reflect.
Yes.
So it happened all of a sudden. She said that. Then I saw that you were going to be presenting breathwork at the Connect and Reflect.
Yes.
And I like to do a little vibe check on people before I get in too deep.
Okay.
I like to do, because not everyone's the right fit for my vibe and for you guys out there in this podcast, right? So I take it seriously, you guys. I don't just let anybody hop on. So I was like, okay, good. I'm going to it. So I went to the Connect and Reflect, and she did a brief kind of an overview all about breathwork. And then you led us through like a meditation breathwork combo is what it felt like to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I loved it. Nope, she's got the vibe. She's got the right vibration. I was like, yep. So we got to do it. So then I reached out afterwards because an email had gotten sent out with your contact info.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, I got to text her. So then I text Lisa and asked her to do this breathwork thing. And we've been going back and forth a little bit with our busy schedules, getting this lined up.
We have indeed.
Yes.
And I was beyond honored. When you share your story, there's a level of vulnerability.
Yes.
And
I try and keep it real on here for you guys.
Absolutely. And you do a great job with that. And, creep back at you. I listened to a couple of your podcasts, and the vibe absolutely was a fit for how I want to share.
Yeah.
And put my story out there.
Yeah. And I always tell everybody, even if I'm reaching out via email or whatever, like listen to some of my episodes to make sure we're the right fit. Because I want them to feel like we're the right fit too.
Absolutely.
Okay. Because it's not going to go well if our personalities are like, yeah, it's not going to work out. So I always make sure. But so that's how I found Lisa. So today, like I just kind of explained to you guys, we're talking about breath work. So we all breathe all the time without even thinking about it. That's breathing, you guys.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
What would you say is the difference between just breathing and breath work? Like, where's the work come in? The breath work.
I'm a little resistant to the word work.
Okay.
Because I think anytime we hear the word work, it sounds daunting. And most of us.
We don't have time for that.
Yeah. Who has time for work? If you work 9 to 5.
I work enough. Yeah.
We work enough. I don't know if I want to do any more work. I like to call it breath practice.
Yeah.
Shauna Shapiro, the PhD, writes, what you practice grows.
Yes.
And I've really been following that mantra for quite some time. So really the difference between, what we do every day, there are 2 types of breath. There is involuntary, and that is the breath that is any respiration that is not under conscious control.
So what we're doing day to day, just sitting here. You're not thinking about it.
Exactly. There is no conscious thought connected with the breath that our lungs are producing for us. It happens throughout the day, no matter what we're doing, and it happens while we sleep without our conscious awareness.
Yeah.
Then there is voluntary breath, which would be the breath we control.
Yeah.
Meaning when we speak, when we exercise, when we sing, when we are utilizing relaxation technique.
Yes.
And that is where we have control and a mindful awareness of the breath moving in and out of our bodies.
Yes. Because we talk a lot about this podcast, how we can control our bodies and our minds and the connection between everything.
Absolutely.
So breath work is just a really good tool for this.
You are absolutely right. Absolutely right.
All right. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm a beginner.
I was too at one point.
And sometimes I do breath work and don't realize I am doing it.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily perfect. And I don't think it always has to be.
Right.
But depending on like my meditation or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So we'll get into that. Okay. So why would we want to control our breath? Why not just let it roll like it always is?
Truth be told, our central nervous system depends on it. It is absolutely critical for our well-being. Our central nervous system is comprised of 2 parts.
Okay.
There is the parasympathetic, which most of us may or may not have heard of, which is rest and digest.
Okay.
And then there is the sympathetic side of our nervous system, which is fight or flight, freeze. We've all heard of fight, flight, or freeze.
I think we can get stuck in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And therein lies the problem. When we become stuck in the fight or flight reaction, we unfortunately can throw ourselves into a chronic stress system. And
overload our bodies.
You've got it. And at that point, chronic stress can then affect our health and well-being.
For sure.
Our blood pressure, for one. Cholesterol is affected by that.
Is it?
Yes, absolutely.
Crap. Okay.
Interesting fact, nose breathing or nasal breathing is actually the most efficient. We have filters in our nose, and when we breathe primarily through our nose, we are actually able to get 20% more oxygen.
Is this why everyone's taping their mouths?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have not tried this, but I've seen a lot of people taping their mouths. It gives me anxiety thinking about it.
Yes.
Taping my mouth shut, but I don't think I'm a big mouth breathing sleeper anyway, but maybe I am. Maybe I need to look into that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what people are taping their mouths shut because you would think you get more through your mouth because it seems like a bigger opening.
Correct.
But our nose is set up to do it right.
Our nose is set up to do it right. And we actually have the filters in our nose are what actually help process the nitrous oxide.
Oh, I love that.
And what's so important about that, just to go down the little science path, is that the nitrous oxide is really important in our vascular system and the well-being of that. So it can actually help get more oxygen into our bloodstream. It can actually help reduce the plaque buildup, and it can work as a vasodilator.
Yes.
And open the blood vessels, which is fantastic and fascinating all at the same time.
And it probably helps us get rid of excess, what would it be? Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide.
Dioxide helps you get rid of more of it.
Yes.
So based on what you're looking for, there are different techniques. Is that what we're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think for me, one of the fascinating things about breath work is I suggest to everybody do your research on whatever level. And I think we all know what breath is. We do it every single day.
Well, yeah, we're always breathing.
Yes, every moment, every day. However, and here's an interesting fact, most of us are doing it incorrectly.
I believe that.
And yeah, we breathe incorrectly. It's not intentional. So please know that no one is doing it intentionally to harm themselves. It simply happens.
Yeah. Our bodies get used to something and it just does it. I mean, it's keeping us alive, right? That's all it's worried about, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's doing its purpose. So here's a fun little exercise if you want to join me in this.
Yeah.
So I invite you to place your hand on your chest and a hand on your belly, which would be, just the center where you feel your diaphragm. If you're not familiar with
is it above or right at the belly button?
Just right at or just right above your belly button.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So begin by just taking a deep breath in, whatever feels natural.
Mm-hmm.
And then exhale, let it go. And then continue to do this pattern, but notice where you feel your breath originate from.
Yeah, mostly from your chest.
Okay.
Which is probably not right. We got to go deeper, don't we?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We want to breathe from our belly. We want to use diaphragmic breathing, and that is letting it originate from the belly. And it's a subtle shift. So an easy way to practice this is think about a sleeping baby or perhaps a cute little sleeping puppy.
Yeah.
And as you're watching them sleep, what do you see rise and fall?
Their belly.
Their belly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So as a general reminder for yourself, again, we're not intending to do anything wrong. You're going to just close your eyes and visualize that sweet little baby or puppy and inhale deeply through your belly, your rib cage. Feel it rise into your heart space. And then exhale, heart space relaxes and the belly pulls in.
Okay. Yeah. It feels different.
Yeah.
Because I was actually, I don't know if I was reading or listening, but your diaphragm is one of the only organs you can control.
Correct.
Like we can't make our heart do what we want, our liver, any of that. We can't be like, okay, work harder. And no, but our diaphragm is one of the only things we can actually control.
Absolutely.
And that's why we can control this breath.
The breath practice. Correct.
Okay. I love that. Yeah.
Correct.
I do that all the time because if you think about it, as you're just breathing, if you just put a hand on your chest, like you can tell it's pretty shallow.
Yes. Yes.
You're not using near the space you have in your lungs and your body.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And our body probably would really enjoy if we would do that more often.
I think our bodies and our minds would absolutely
like that
love
more.
Us more.
Okay,
Absolutely.
yes.
Get the warm fuzzies.
Yeah, get that going. So just briefly, are there people, before we start a breathwork practice, are there conditions and things where we need to be more careful that we don't get too crazy into it without talking to our healthcare provider?
Yes.
Okay.
So I would say anytime you enlist in a new practice, it would be very smart to talk to your practitioner first.
Because we're in middle age. We got things going on now.
Absolutely. and young women who are perhaps in their menses.
Yeah.
Or they're pregnant. People who have COPD or asthma, they can benefit from these practices, but there are certain practices that they would want to stay away from.
I'm assuming if you get into some of these really like intricate deep breath kind of things, like would you maybe even, if you're not used to it, pass out or something? Like you just probably have to be careful.
You do have to be careful. I have actually led a class where the person said to me, oh, I kind of felt like I was getting lightheaded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's where, as we're leading these practices, we're trained to remind, our participants that if at any time they feel lightheaded or anything does not feel right, intuitively, please listen to your body. And at any time, return to your natural breath pattern.
Yeah. Sit down, lay down, just breathe normal for a minute.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are grounding techniques. There's more relaxing, there's more energizing, and there are advanced techniques.
Yes. And it's those advanced ones. You got to be a little bit more careful.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So hold the phone. We got to back up the truck because I need to find out what brought you to this whole breathwork thing. I got to hear your story. Guys, we love hearing the stories on here. Everyone's journey story.
Okay.
So were you always like kind of spiritually woo-woo or not at all?
Wow, that's a great question. Yes, I was.
Okay.
And I think throughout my life, being late 50s, I 30 years of corporate world, and my masculine energy drove my car.
Yep.
And my feminine energy didn't even get to sit in the passenger seat. It sat in the back seat of the car.
Same. I had someone tell me that when I had a reading. They're like, you've been traveling in masculine energy and your path is feminine.
Yes.
You got to slow the hell down.
Yes.
Okay. That happened to me too. Okay. So what made you realize that? Like, ooh, I got to slow down.
A lot of work. I honestly, I think I got to a point. The first thing that happened was I had, 30 years of retail management experience, and my priorities had shifted to the point where work felt more important than my family.
Yep.
And from there, I noticed a big shift of something felt wrong. And from there, I started moving into spirituality, and I started doing a lot of self-help courses.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit.
Yep.
And in COVID, I went even a little bit deeper. So pre-COVID, I discovered breathwork.
Okay.
Which I name it breathwork. At the time, I didn't know it was breathwork.
Yeah.
So I found this in a hospice bathroom. My mother, who had been the picture of health for 78 3/4 years, she passed right before her 79th birthday.
Okay.
Went into the hospital, and a week later was in hospice, and a week later passed.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That'll do it.
That will definitely.
That'll send you into a spin.
That'll send you down a dark rabbit hole. So it was me and my father and her sister in this hospice room with her. And I had been the pillar of strength and let's keep it all together. And I've got to be the one who runs the show. And walked into this bathroom in the hallway lobby and just looked in the mirror and lost it. I was hyperventilating, which in hindsight, I now know that. At the time, I did not know that.
You hit your breaking point in there.
Absolutely. Straw that broke the camel's back. I was broken. And I simply started taking these deep breaths in and then letting them out. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And it was somewhat like this. It was a, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Coping.
Yes. Not to make light of the situation, but I'm pretty sure the people who might have been out in the lobby and the lobby desk probably thought a poor animal had found their way into the bathroom.
Something's going down in there.
Something's going down in that bathroom.
People were worried.
Yeah, they were worried. So I continued to do it only because it felt good. I couldn't control what was happening in that room. I couldn't control the timing. What I could control was getting out of that panic state of being in a panic attack and bringing myself back to my breath. And from there on out, I didn't practice with any formality. I simply, when I would feel overwhelmed or disconnected from my body, I would sit down and simply breathe.
Yeah.
And my mom ended up passing by the end of that week. I then became my father's caregiver for about 3 months just to get him settled into his
into the
newfound life. And returned home and started looking into breath work.
Yeah. What is this doing?
Yeah. What is breath work a thing? Like, do people practice this? Is this only for people who are
hippies,
yoga instructors, yogis, masters, people who've studied for 50, 60 years and have really mastered? And it really is a modality that can be used by every single person because that is what we have in common. We all breathe.
And we can only control ourselves. We figured out by this age, we love to control other people, but we know we can't.
Absolutely.
We really can only control ourselves. And when it comes to ourselves, one of the things we can control is our breath.
You've got it.
Because we can't control the stuff happening in our bodies sometimes.
Yes. And I think reading that definition of what breath work is what you just said. When I became a student in my 50s.
Why not?
I said to myself, okay, Lisa, you have one goal, and that is to be the best student that you could possibly be.
Yeah.
You're going to take in this information and you're going to learn it and you're going to practice it. And if what comes out of it is you are a healthier, happier person whose mental well-being is improved, then you've made the right choice.
Yeah.
I began to share it with my children. I have 3 adult children. Shared it with my husband, shared it with my oldest granddaughter. And I could see little subtle changes in how I felt sharing and how they felt observing and then
and trying it.
And in their own way trying it.
Right. Yeah. Because really, we don't need all of our family and friends to do everything we do.
Correct.
Just have it, just have an understanding of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And then if you want to get in on it, get in on it. Yeah.
You got it. And I feel like my practice may be more formal, where I sit down and I will do a breathwork practice daily. My spouse might be, he takes a few deep breaths when he knows he's stressed and he can reground from that. My granddaughter might be having, a 10-year-old meltdown. And that's very normal. There's nothing abnormal with that. But she now has a tool that she can say, oh, okay, I have to take a deep breath. That will help me.
Yeah. I think breath work's good for everyone. It doesn't matter what phase of your life you're in.
Correct.
Because I've even listened to different things where athletes can really benefit. You can really boost up your performance even.
Correct.
Through breath work.
You can increase your lung capacity.
Yes.
Which to me is
incredible.
Amazing. And it's an amazing, incredible choice that you can make for yourself.
Yes. Breath work.
Whether you're an athlete or you're live a sedentary lifestyle.
Well, no. And even the athletes, it's not just like to make them physically, like you said, expand lung capacity, even like anxiety.
Yes.
There's a lot of athletes who will get anxiety before a game starts in a stressful situation during whatever sport they're in.
Yes.
So to be able, like you said, to control that, is it parasympathetic?
Yes. So we want to be in parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest.
Okay. So to get us back to that state.
Correct.
There's probably times when you want to like ramp up to though. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because that has different healing properties too.
Correct. So you wake up in the morning and you've got, a busy day coming ahead and you're just feeling sluggish. We've all felt that. The alarm goes off. We click it 4 times before we actually get out of bed. And there are breath practices that you can do that will help energize your day. And again, you may not have time to do your 40-minute, exercise routine because of the way the day has unfolded for you, but you can perhaps do a 5 to 10 minute energizing breath practice that can have that same reset and that same focus.
I think these teams should do that. Like we need to get into all the schools and have these high school kids and stuff before their games all doing a little breath work.
Yes. Now, I know we're of the same generation.
Yeah.
And I wish this is something I would have learned in my preteens.
Oh, we learned nothing.
Yes.
We were feral.
Yeah. Life skills out the window.
You just go. Like, we didn't get diagnosed with anything either.
No. And we learned home ec, how to make pancakes and
just stuff. Honestly, I wish they brought a few things back because like my kids graduated from school and like had no clue how to like fill out a check.
Yes.
And I'm not even kidding. I feel like they were heading to college not knowing how to like address and stamp an envelope properly. I was so embarrassed. I was like, I have failed. What do you mean you don't know how to address the envelope, your thank you? I think it was after a grad bar. I'm like, what do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Where do I put this address? Where? And they wrote them in the wrong spot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I failed. You don't even know.
No, you didn't fail.
Do you know where this stamp goes? Like, what have we done? Like, what are we teaching in school now? If we ditch the cursive, we still got to keep some stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, geez. But no, we weren't brought up with any of this.
No, we were not.
Yes.
Generationally speaking, I wouldn't fault our parents. They didn't know what they didn't know either.
No.
Yes.
And you know what? Our kids are going to have kids and their kids are going to go, what in the heck? Like, how did you not know that? Like, we're all going to fall short. So there are different types. Are there different practices? Wait, where did this come from? Who started this whole breathwork thing? Do you know?
It started so the pranayama breath, it's an ancient breathing technique that originated in India.
Yeah. Cause this isn't new, you guys.
No,
this isn't some new wave. People have been doing this for forever.
Yes. It's, I want to say, paraphrasing here, 2400
BC. Like, for sure.
Yeah.
Probably further back than we even have documentation of.
Yes, I would absolutely agree with that.
Okay.
Yes.
So a lot of this is going on, like you said, in India. I think some of it was there was a version even like old Chinese medicine.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is like tried and true. And now in modern day, they've done a lot of scientific research. If you guys want to go down the rabbit hole on this one, like there's plenty because they've done so much research. Like even if you're out there and you're not woo-woo, it doesn't matter. Like there's scientific proof that this stuff is helping our bodies and minds become healthier.
Absolutely.
So just stick with us. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my, I read a lot about from Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah.
And they're constantly doing studies. And it's really very interesting that the scientific studies, not only like what we've talked about in terms of reducing anxiety and getting better sleep and improving your focus, but it can increase your oxygen level in your blood, increases the body's ability to release gas waste from your lungs.
Yeah.
It can decrease your oxygen demand, meaning you're breathing slower and more efficiently and effectively. There's 100% capacity to increase lung efficiency simply by breathing consciously.
Perfect. Yeah. I love that. So breathwork came before meditation for you. Some people, it's the opposite.
Yes.
Okay.
So breathwork came first for me.
Okay.
And once I realized that I felt empowered and I felt confident in what I was doing and I was seeing the results from it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can meditate. I'm not a real sit still kind of gal.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I'm kind of a go lifestyle person. And what I realized is through the breath work, it slowed me down. It grounded me and it allowed me to be fully present with myself and then enter into a deeper meditation.
Which is meditate. That's all meditation really is.
Exactly.
Calming down so we can hear our own self, our own higher self, our inner self, whatever.
Yes. If you can breathe, you can meditate. If you can meditate, you're breathing properly.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
They do go hand in hand.
Yes.
And so sometimes in meditation, so we're talking about all these different techniques in that. So I did a meditation once before I even knew breath work. Okay. And it was kind of at a time when I had some deep stuff I was working on.
Okay.
And so I put on this meditation track and it was very tribal drum, get your heart pumping. This was not a relaxation mode kind of meditation.
Yes.
This is I got to dig in and get my heart pounded and figure out what's going on meditation. Okay. So I put that on. And instinctively, my breathing started to change with the meditation. So I wasn't thinking I wasn't going okay, I should be breathing in deeper, but just instinctively from the drums, from the meditation, from everything going on. It was a guided one. So someone was kind of talking to, but I had all that going on. And all of a sudden I was doing this breathing, deep and out and hold and stuff. I don't even know exactly what I was doing, but it made the whole meditation much deeper because of I think the effect it was having on my body.
Yes.
I mean, for sure. Because I think you can almost get to the point of feeling like you did psychedelics or something.
Yes. That is true.
Because I have heard since then, I didn't know this at the time when this happened to me, because I did get a lot of really big visions and a lot of things going on between the beat of the tribal shamanic kind of journey meditation.
Yes.
And then the way my breathing was reacting to it.
Yes.
Puts you in a whole different state, you guys.
Yes.
It just does. I don't even can explain it. So then I started to look into it more and I was, oh yeah, there was tons of people saying instead of doing a psychedelic, you can get your breath, do this breath work.
Yes.
And get there anyway.
Yes.
Why is that? What's going on?
We're shifting our energy. So truth be told, we are all vibrational beings and we can raise or lower our vibration by choice. You knew you had something that you wanted to work through, that you needed to mix it up and change it up and let it come forth. And with that awareness, you chose what you chose and it helped you do exactly what the end result was you were trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Which was raise your vibration, perhaps clear it out, and connecting the mind and body. Somatic movement is that's one of my new favorites. I didn't really.
Yeah. I don't know a ton about that yet either, but I'm starting to want to check it out.
Yeah. I'm not well versed in it yet. And I don't know that I ever want to go down I want to be a yoga teacher road. However, the somatic movement or dancing it out or shaking it out.
Some movement. There is something with movement for sure.
And the vibration. I've done some energy work.
Yeah.
And the same thing. I know breath work and I utilize breath work daily, sometimes multiple times a day. And I went into this energy work session and was not even thinking about my breath. And the vibration began and I immediately felt this calming release.
Yeah.
And I could feel my respirations slow down almost to the point where it felt like I was sleeping. I was absolutely not aware of my breath.
Yeah.
Because it had slowed so much.
Yeah. Because like in mine, so like in the meditation, my eyes are closed. I'm laying down. Mm-hmm. My body should have gotten a really good rest out of it. Mm-hmm. No, I was exhausted after that.
Yeah.
I felt like I'd run a damn marathon and it was a meditation.
Yes.
And I think it had to do partially with the way my breath work was going.
Yes.
And just the releasing all the crap and the stuff or whatever the whole thing did. I was exhausted.
Yes.
Which made no sense to me at the time because I'm like, I've been laying down. I did it laying down.
Yeah. I do most of mine laying down.
Yes, with my eyes closed. Mm-hmm. And I was just whooped for the day. I was exhausted after that whole business. And so I was like, I'm going to have to look more into this. But what exactly is going on that it would be almost like you're on a psychedelic? Is it a lack of oxygen? Is it the extra oxygen, do you think? What do you think is causing that kind of like psychedelic feel that you can get to?
I would have to say it's a couple of things. I think our breath is intensifying, which is cardio. And mm-hmm. then we've got a release of endorphins and serotonin. And then with that, also, if you're doing intense energy work, which would be, there's a couple breath work styles that you can do. You're releasing toxins.
Which can for sure exhaust our bodies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How many times have you had a deep tissue massage? And it feels absolutely amazing, but you have to push the water afterwards and you do feel a little sore.
And then you're sore and you're like, ooh, what happened?
I kind of feel like I got a little workout in there, but I was laying on a table.
Right. I didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's my favorite kind of workout.
Yeah. Same here.
You don't move. Oh, if that could be all of them. That'd be awesome. Tell me this. Are there ways in your life that you can tell this breathwork has helped? Because I know probably, obviously, if you're feeling better, the people around you are feeling better. If your vibes are higher, people around you can feel it, whether they know it or not.
Yes.
So what kind of changes in yourself after you started your breathwork practice? Mm-hmm. Like in real ways, did you say, oh, this is helping. This is changing my life?
So after my mother passed, mm-hmm. I think it was 2 years, my father passed.
Jeez. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I had been practicing, but again, practicing caring for your family, caring for yourself, caring for your extended family.
Everybody else. Yeah.
The plate was beyond full. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, at that point in my life, I felt I had to fill my mother's shoes. So I wasn't being true to myself because I felt
because you figured you could take everything over your mom had been doing.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And that wasn't your journey to walk.
That was not my journey to walk, but my vision was very skewed at that point of what my purpose was.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
After my father passed, that grief journey that started, prior to that, mm-hmm. just exemplified. And I was not mindful, meaning I was not mindful of what I was putting in my mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Moment of vulnerability. I'm not a drinker, but I was drinking Tito's and ginger beer and I'd go out and float in my pool. That was my therapy.
Yeah. The Tito's can be a good therapist sometimes.
And it was,
don't let it go too far.
Yeah. It was one Yeti, glass and that was it.
Yeah.
But that was how I felt I could cope.
Yeah, it becomes a habit and you don't even realize it.
Right. So I was mm-hmm. negative habit stacking. Mm-hmm. Like the pool and relaxation was positive, but
the Tito's
were negative and they negated it themselves. So with that being said, I realized, okay, this is not who you want to be. And with that came weight gain.
Yep.
And being thrust into and making choices that allowed chronic stress to become my daily lifestyle. I put on 20 pounds
Easy to do. Yep.
Easy to do. And so I was eating my feelings. I was drinking my feelings. I was ignoring my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't pouring into those around me that loved me and were still there for me.
Yes.
The walls got built up. And since this slow journey of mindful awareness,
Mm-hmm.
by reintroducing positive habit stacking, which it started with this water bottle.
Water. Yep. Water.
I'm like, okay, I'll drink one of these a day. Okay. And then it became, okay, I'll drink one of these before noon and one before dinner. And next thing you know, I'm drinking 64 ounces of water every day.
Yeah, because you can't just start with a gallon. I've tried that.
Oh,
It's
my
like,
gosh, yes.
okay, the doctor said I got to do a gallon a day. Everyone says I'll lose weight if I do a gallon a day. That's a lot of freaking water.
That's a lot of water.
Until you're used to ramping up to that.
Exactly.
That's a lot of water. We can't start with a gallon.
No. And I still stick to 64.
Yeah.
So from there, I became very mindful of what I was putting in my mouth.
Mm-hmm. Then that's hard.
That's very hard.
Hmm.
And then I became very aware of, okay, but everything in moderation, that's okay.
Yeah, you're not being too hard on yourself.
Exactly. You are letting go of the guilt. You're acknowledging that you're going to make a choice to maybe have French fries today.
Yeah. Just not every day.
And you're accepting it.
Yeah.
And then you're saying exactly that. Well, this won't happen every day. I'm choosing for this not to happen every day.
Because I think sometimes we're hard on ourselves then.
Yes.
And then we lower our vibration. We're upset with ourselves. And that's exactly why you're going to eat like that again.
Yes.
We got to forgive ourselves and be like, no, that was a one and done. I enjoyed the fries. Mm-hmm. It was great.
Yes.
Now I'm going to move on.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm moving on.
And it's fine.
Yes. It was never easy. I'm not going to say this, any part of this was easy. They call it work and they say you have to do the work for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But the work was very rewarding. And I think my biggest takeaway from this was that I did not seek the external validation in a way that I used to.
Okay.
When I needed validation, I would internally say, how do you feel when you eat those French fries? Or how do you feel when you don't get 8 hours of sleep?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel if you don't drink the right amount of water?
Yeah.
And when I started getting the answers of, well, you don't feel good, you feel tired, you feel sluggish, you don't have energy, those were my clear answers.
Yeah.
And I noticed my energy level started to increase. I noticed that, and I'm not someone who weighs myself on the regular at all.
Right.
It's just if I feel good
That's
and
fine.
my clothes fit, amen.
Right.
But I noticed that my clothes started fitting differently. And I noticed when my grandkids came over, they'd say, oh, let's, take a walk, and I could walk farther, or they'd want to run around in the front yard, or, my husband and I we have a 5-acre little farmette and we'd want to go out and do work. And it would be like, yeah, let's go out and do it, instead of, let's just stay inside.
Let's stay inside. Let's watch TV and have snacks.
Let's watch Netflix and make a snack board,
Yeah.
Still do that, of course.
Well,
but
yeah, in moderation, right?
In moderation. So, going back to your question, those are some of the things that I had to really dig deep and ask myself those questions. And some of the answers came very easily. Yeah. And then some of the questions or the answers to those questions took more time. And those were the ones that I had to devote a little bit more of a practice to. And one of those things was my gratitude journal.
Okay, yeah.
I started a gratitude journal, and it started with 3 things you're grateful for.
Right. Just whatever.
And it could be great cup of coffee, no traffic driving to work today, and got 8 hours of sleep. Very
perfect.
Mundane, simple, done. Then it was drove to work today and noticed how blue the skies were.
Yeah. Okay.
Enjoyed my lunch sitting outside.
Yeah.
After my alarm went off, I heard birds singing.
Okay, because the breath work led you to being more mindful all of the time. Yes. So you were noticing the differences. Were the people around you noticing the differences?
Yes.
Like, were they saying, like, you just seem a little bit better? Like, I don't see that Tito's in your hand all the time. No, I don't know.
Exactly. No.
Mom, you've lost weight. No, you seem like you feel better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely think that my smile came back.
Yeah.
I've always prided myself on having a smile, and I smile with my eyes and my mouth.
Yeah.
They go
just
together.
A personality. Yeah.
My personality came back through my smile and my eyes. And I think my girls noticed it first. I think my adult son then noticed it. And then my husband, just was like the quiet, supportive observer.
Mm-hmm.
And they just all rallied around me. And I didn't know I needed rallying around. So
because we're taught to handle ourselves.
We are. I was raised to be a very independent.
Same. Yep.
Dreamer, but take care of yourself. You don't need to depend on other people.
Yeah. Get your own stuff done.
Get your stuff done, and the rest will follow. And so, that has been the journey. And those are some of the subtle changes that I've noticed. And I've started to, even with more breath work and more meditation, I'm starting to see things through my grandchildren's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Which has been a huge blessing, because I think as we move from our own childhood experiences into teenage and adult experiences, we're reconditioned to let go of that feminine energy.
Yeah.
And embrace that masculine energy.
Yeah, because we got to go.
Yes.
We got to accomplish things and get things done.
Yes.
And so, so clearly you're back into your feminine energy now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Embracing it, loving it, hugging it. The whole thing.
Yeah. And you guys, we don't mean feminine energy necessarily male-female type thing.
Correct.
Men can have a more feminine energy path.
Correct.
Women can also have a masculine path that was meant to be.
Yes.
Okay.
That is their purpose.
This isn't like there
is no wrong or right.
No.
There is everything in balance.
Yes. We all have feminine energy. We all have masculine energy.
Yes.
Because it's fine. This isn't a
no judgment zone.
Yeah. And this isn't like a gender thing or anything like that. When we're talking male, female energies here, it has nothing to do with our gender.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I think it's more chromosomal.
Yeah.
Masculine and feminine.
Yeah. And so your path. So as far as the spiritual journey awakening, okay. So you're doing breath work and you're doing meditation and you feel like you're on your right path again.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Now, do you feel like you're at a place where you're like connecting with a higher being, or you're more just connecting with yourself? Like, are you on a path towards that or on that yet, or not really? You're just really settling into yourself right now. I don't know. You know what I mean? Are you like religious still, or do you just really feel more spiritual?
I feel spiritually called.
Okay. Yes.
And what that means for me, and I know we all have different definitions, so I'll speak only to what I mean for myself, is that religion was never a big part of my life.
Okay.
And when I was introduced to religion, for me, it felt like a lot of fitting inside a box.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And spirituality, for me, was a more organic process, realizing that I was fearfully and wonderfully created in the likeness of.
Yes. I love how you explain that, because religion really is putting you in a box. You have very specific rules you have to follow to be a part of the club.
Yes.
Okay. And depending on which religion, there's lots of them, lots of clubs out there. Okay.
And what's right for me may not be right for someone else.
And that's not to say,
and I respect that,
any religion is bad. But I think we do have to look at it from what things are true to me.
Yes.
In this.
Yes.
I'm not going to stay in this full box.
Correct.
I'm going to take the pieces of it that resonate with me, go with that. And then I'm just going to expand my mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where you're at. So you don't have a strict like religious practice or a specific, you're just open.
Yes. I'm very open.
You're just open to everything.
Yeah. Open to everything, open to learning. I'm a firm believer if I'm led to it by my higher guide.
Yeah.
Then I will be led through it.
Yes.
In partnership with.
Perfect. So you're just open for what you're meant to do in this lifetime.
Yes.
Okay. I love that.
And I never feel like I'm alone, which is amazing.
We are. We're never alone.
Yes.
That's part of one of the best parts of the spiritual awakening.
You got
is
it.
Realizing like, I'm not alone, like ever.
Yes.
And I kind of planned this stuff. So let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh God. All right. I'm getting off on a tangent and
That's okay.
We're getting back to some breath work. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh. So breath work. Okay. So I know everybody out there is thinking, okay, like, what do I even do? Is there a best way to begin your breath work practice? Are there techniques, beginner stuff?
So I would say for beginners, if you stumbled on it like I did, simply noticing your breath.
Yes. And just starting to, like you said, and if you have a yoga practice, they kind of do this in yoga too.
Yes, they do.
But if you don't have a yoga practice, this is totally all new, right?
Yes.
And so just feeling it, a deep breath, right? Like where you feel it in your belly, like you said.
Absolutely.
Moving that diaphragm.
Yes, moving the diaphragm. So simply think about, because I don't want listeners to think this is hard. This is very organic and it's very easy to begin. And again, it'll go back to the exercise we did in the beginning. Placing a hand on your diaphragm and a hand on your chest, closing your eyes so that you can settle in and invite a little more calm, tune out the world around you, and simply take those deep, slow breaths. Breathing in for the count of 4.
Okay.
Exhaling for the count of 6 can be very, very powerful.
Is that all through the nose or exhales mouth?
If you want to ground into your practice, the beginning thing should be an inhale through the nose, exhale, blow it out through the mouth.
Okay.
Inhale through the nose, exhale, blow it out through the mouth.
Okay. In general, that's a good starting point.
That's a great starting point.
Okay.
And then from there, you'll want to move to a nasal inhalation.
Okay.
And a nasal exhalation. So breathing slowly in through the nose, feeling it fill up the belly, the rib cage, the heart space.
Okay.
And then slowly exhale, letting the chest fall, the belly contract, and all the air moves out.
Okay.
The slower the exhale is the trigger to the central nervous system, knowing that you're moving from a state of fight or flight to a state of rest and digest, which is where you ideally want to be.
Okay. Because as a general rule, I always just try and I try and double my exhale from what my inhale was. So, because that can be different depending on if you have any breathing problems or anything. You might be like, I can't hold my breath for that long, or I can't breathe in for that long, or whatever. It's okay. Like you can modify it. Absolutely. So what you're saying is the important part is the exhale being longer.
Correct. If you start with inhale for 2, exhale for 4.
Yeah. That's a good starting place.
It's a great starting place.
Yep. And doing the in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Right.
Okay.
And understanding that there is no judgment.
Right.
And listening to your body is creating your personal level of mindful awareness of what's going to work for you.
Yes.
Because in a yoga class or a meditation class or a breathwork class, we're there to guide. But you have to intuitively listen to what's best for you to receive the maximum benefits for you.
Yes. So if you can't hold it at the top, because there's different techniques, where you're going to breathe in for
like the 4-7-8 breath.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do 4-7-8.
So you'll breathe in for 4, hold at the top for 7, and you'll exhale for the count of 8. If at any time the hold or the exhalation feel too much, simply exhale and return back to your natural breath. Being mindful that you're breathing correctly, which is the inhalation through the belly, the rib cage, the chest, and then exhaling through the nose.
So just being mindful of that will get you back on track.
Absolutely.
And if you can't hold for the 7, because there's been times when 7 seemed a little long for me.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie. But that's okay.
Yes.
Just give yourself the grace.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what? You held it for 6. You held it for 5.
Exactly.
Just still do the long exhale after. You're still fine.
Yes. And
don't overthink it.
You're still doing a hold.
Yes. You're still doing a hold.
Yes. And I think think of a professional athlete. They don't start by being the best at what they do. They don't start by running a 4-minute mile.
No.
People
who run marathons started not running marathons.
Right. They started by training.
Yeah.
And it might have been running 2 houses down and then walking the rest of the way. And then the next day it became walking 3 houses down.
So it's the same thing. Just give yourself some grace when you start doing this. Like if you can't hold as long as you think you should be holding, it's fine.
It's absolutely fine.
let's do this. Let me give you like a little scenario.
Okay.
And you can tell me what kind of breath work would be best for that spot.
All right.
Because I know everybody out there, I know you guys we all have a lot of stuff going on. So we never know. Here's just a common one. We're feeling anxiety. We're feeling panic. Could be all the way up to a panic attack.
Okay.
We're off. So probably we're feeling like we have very shallow breath in, right?
Yes.
It's probably very shallow and a little bit quicker because we're a little bit freaking out.
Yep.
Okay. Which technique do we use for that?
One of the best techniques for that is equal ratio breath.
Okay.
So you're going to start with a grounding breath. Always start with a grounding breath.
Which is
breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth.
And just repeat, that's your grounding breath.
Yeah,
okay.
Repeat that 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Because then what you're doing is by having that longer exhale release, whether you're even intending to do it or not, you're letting your central nervous system know, okay, it's time to relax. It's time to settle down.
Okay. Because this could be a situation where you're in a stressful situation. Maybe you're about to take a test. Maybe there's just something about to happen.
Yes.
It could be a medical procedure. I don't know. And we're feeling stressed about it.
Yes.
Okay. So we want to do this technique.
Yes. So we're going to place our hand on our belly, hand on our chest, and we're going to inhale for the count of 4. So inhale for 4, hold at the top for 7, and exhale slowly through the nose for the count of 8.
Okay. And that was all through the nose. We did not open our mouth.
We did not open our mouth.
Okay.
And then we continue to repeat that practice.
How long should we do it for? Just till we start to calm down, or?
I like to be very mindful of, again, what feels intuitive and right for you. If you want to do it, for me, it might take me 2 times to calm down because I'm more practiced.
Yeah.
For yourself, it might take 4 or 5 repetitions.
Yeah. Or kind of whatever you have time for. If you're in a situation, like you're getting ready to slide in the MRI machine.
Right.
Okay. Like close your eyes. You might just, do
absolutely.
whatever you need.
You might have just like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
To do a few of those breaths.
Yeah.
Another one is if you're giving a speech.
Yeah.
Getting ready to give a speech. And you want to really ground into just kind of tuning everything out.
Okay. Yeah.
And centering into
your own
yourself,
thoughts.
your own thoughts.
Okay.
And really grounding into tuning out everything so that you can be present for what you're about to present.
Yes.
You can do Brahmari, which is called bee's breath.
Bee's breath. Okay.
Yes. And bee's breath is really fun to do with children also.
Okay. If they're stressed out, having a little tantrum or something.
You got it. So ideally you would want to place your fingers in your ears.
Okay.
And then you would want to somewhat like this. So you're going to take your fingers and place them gently over your mouth. You're going to place your fingers over your nose and your thumbs in your ears.
Okay. So guys, what she's showing is like both hands have like a sideways pointing at each other, like peace symbol kind of thing. Okay. Because the thumbs are heading into the ears.
Yep.
Okay. Your pointer fingers are plugging the nose.
Yes.
Okay. And then would be the middle
fingers are going to just gently place over your mouth.
Placed on your mouth. Okay. So you look like you have 2 little sideways peace symbols going on.
You got it.
Perfect.
You'll breathe in through your nose. Nice deep inhale.
Wait. Okay. Stay with me. We're not plugging the nose.
No, we don't plug it.
Because then we're not breathing at all, Jenny.
Yes.
Okay. So we're, all right. I'm catching up. So they're up there, but they're not plugging yet.
Correct. We're not plugging yet. So you're going to start by placing them just outside your nostrils.
Okay.
And you're going to take a deep inhale in, close the nostrils. And as you begin to hum. So you're doing an
Okay. And during that whole thing, your nostrils were plugged.
Correct.
So you've taken this deep breath.
Yes.
You've plugged the nostrils. Your mouth is closed. Your hands are just resting there, but they're closed. So the humming is totally with no air really escaping your body.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You're using the air in the humming and nothing's leaving the body yet.
Correct.
Okay.
And what you're doing is you're using Om, or you can simply hum like a bee.
Okay. Yeah.
And what that is doing is it's raising your vibration.
Yeah. Om's like the most powerful thing out there.
Yes.
Okay. Love it.
And you are also, when you do that release, you're releasing that oxygen hold. So you're doing basically a carbon dioxide dump.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. Which is actually really healthy for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we got the bee's breath.
Another one for anxiety is what's called equal ratio breathing, or box breath.
Box breath,
which is very common. A lot of people have heard of box breath. It's done in 4 counts. So you would inhale for the count of 4, hold at the top for the count of 4, exhale for the count of 4, and hold at the bottom for the count of 4.
Okay. So that one's easy to remember, like a box. Each side is 4 seconds.
Exactly.
And you're just going to keep going around it, around it.
Across, down, and back across. That one you can do in repetitions of, 5, 10, 15, until you're feeling the sensation of calm.
Okay.
And you're present.
Okay. And so those are 3 techniques that would be like kind of beginner stuff,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, this is just going to get you centering in and mindful and all those things.
Yes.
Okay. Then if we wanted to kick it up a level.
Okay. So there's energizing breath work. One of my favorites is Kapalabhati. Which means breath of fire.
Okay.
And breath of fire is, again, this is a little bit more advanced. So you're going to want to make sure that you've done some of the more calming ones that require retentions.
Okay.
So that you are prepared to hold longer.
Okay. Because you got to work your way up to be able to do longer holds.
Correct. And the longer hold is allowing the internal energy to move and shift throughout our body.
Okay.
Creating a release.
That's why that hold is so important.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Now, Kapalabhati does have some restrictions. So anyone who is pregnant or on their menses or perhaps has cardiovascular issues, this would definitely be one that you would want to speak to your primary physician before starting it.
Yes, okay.
Just to make sure.
And during your first times, probably be like in a safe situation. I'll be sitting next to some water or something.
Yes.
Or you do get lightheaded.
And absolutely sitting down. This is not one that you would want to do, standing up. Sometimes if you're standing at the kitchen, you're like, oh, I'm really anxious. I have to make this phone call. Let me do some box breath. That one you can do standing.
Okay. Once we kick it up, we should sit down.
We should be in a sitting or lying down position for some of these. Yes. So
all right, that makes sense.
Kapalabhati, breath of fire, you are going to place a hand on your diaphragm or your belly.
Okay.
You're going to place a hand on your heart. And you are going to inhale deeply through the nose and exhale through the mouth to get grounded.
Okay, yeah, the grounding breath.
In through the nose, exhale through the mouth and let it go. Then you are going to breathe in deeply, filling all the way up, like 3/4 of the way. And what you're going to do here is you are going to be exhaling through the nose. Similar to this, they're short puffs of breath. So I'll demonstrate.
Okay.
So what's happening is you're forcefully exhaling the air that you have taken in.
Okay.
Your body will naturally inhale a little on its own, but it's not an actual inhale in the way we think of taking an inhale. Your stomach is pumping. With force.
Because while you were doing that, your belly was a bouncing each time.
Yes.
So you're putting some effort into getting rid of that.
You are definitely putting effort into pushing that air out.
Is the exhale a certain amount? Like, is that 10 times or?
Again, this is starting in your own comfortable level. You should start maybe with 10 to 20.
Okay.
And then at the end of that exhale of 20, you're going to inhale, drop your chin, and hold for approximately 20 seconds.
Okay. So big hold.
Yes.
Okay.
That big hold, you will feel resistance. The first time I did it, I thought to myself, oh my gosh.
The longest 20 seconds of your life.
Longest 20 seconds of my life.
Okay.
And I could feel the energy moving. For me, I hold my tension in my upper right shoulder blade.
Okay.
And whenever I feel that, this is when I'll use Kapalabhati.
Okay.
And I will feel that tension release. Yes. And I'll do approximately 2 to 4 rounds, depending on how long my holds are.
So if we know where we hold stress in our body, a lot of us know, like it's, the base of our skull or shoulder, like you said, wherever. if we're feeling that, this is a good one to try and get that to move out.
Absolutely.
Get rid of that tightness. Yeah.
This is also another great energizing one. So if you wake up in the morning and you know you've got
a lot to do
or a big presentation and you really want to get yourself amped up for this, but you don't want to be on that like caffeine jittery high.
Yeah.
This would be a great way to get
again,
the energy
we're
moving.
releasing those things.
Correct. While we're increasing the oxygen.
Yeah. Are we doing a little carbon dioxide dump here too, or not so much?
Yeah. So at the end, when we after that last hold, then exhale through the mouth.
Okay. And just let it all out.
Yes. And then on the next natural inhale, you're going to fill up 3/4 of the way, and then you'll begin the pump again.
This kind of feels like Lamaze breathing. Back in the day, you know, when they were like, you know what I mean? Like that's probably my first ever experience was, I don't know. Listen, I took the Lamaze class. I don't think I did one damn thing they taught me, but it's fine. I had good intentions, right?
Yes, absolutely. I was there with you. I did too.
I tried. Anyway. Okay. So we're doing that. And then the big exhale where we're just really letting it out through our mouths.
Correct.
The whole rest of the time, the mouth is closed.
Yes.
And then it's that final release. Okay.
Once you do that final release.
And this is more energizing than relaxing.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I tend to feel relaxed, and there have been times where I almost feel a little bit of that euphoric feeling that you were talking about. Because as your holds become longer, you will feel that oxygen moving through you.
Okay,
You will also feel the resistance to breathe, because as you're holding, you're going to want to take in a breath. And if you can move past that, some of the things I'll say to myself is, you're exactly where you need to be. Continue to hold. You've got this. And then when it's ready to come out, I exhale completely.
Yes. And there's probably a huge release with that.
There is a huge release.
If you can make it through. If you can tell yourself in your head, like, you got this. Yep. No, girl, you will not take another breath. Like you just
Exactly. Exactly.
We're doing our practice here.
Exactly.
Okay. And so then is there any other energizing that gives us that burst of?
Yes. So if you are feeling, there's the masculine energy and the left energy, which would be like unilateral breathing. Alternate nostril breathing or nadi shodhana is great for relaxation because you're alternately breathing through the left and the right nose. If you want to move masculine energy or feminine energy, you can alternately breathe only through one side. So,
okay. So depending on what energy we're trying to tap into.
Yes. So Surya Beti is the sun piercing, and that is to move your masculine energy. The inhales are done on the right.
Okay.
And the exhales are done through the left consistently. So there's no alternating the breath. It's in through the right, exhale through the left. Hold, inhale through the right, hold, exhale through the left, hold.
And that's if we're tapping into our masculine or feminine energy.
Right. So that one would be for masculine.
And if we're alternating
is we're using both sides, masculine and energy, to create a balance.
And so for that one, we're plugging one side, breathing in the other.
Yes.
Then we're plugging that one, exhaling out the other side.
You got it.
Then you're breathing in that side again.
Yes. So the mudra is your hand motion. So you're going to take your peace fingers and kind of fold them into your palm. So your thumb is up, your ring finger and your pointer are sticking out together.
Okay.
So then you're going to place your thumb on your right nostril. You're going to breathe in through your left, plug your left nostril, hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, release from the right, 2, 3, 4, close, hold, 2, 3, 4, and inhale through the right, 2, 3, 4, and alternate.
See, I did a couple of meditations where I was probably doing it wrong then, because I was kind of doing that, but I wasn't doing this whole thing. The hold's important, I bet.
Yeah, the holds are important.
The hold. I think I forgot the hold in those.
Yes.
Okay.
And when you exhale out the right, you're going to want to then inhale through the right.
Yes. And then switch back
to the left. Yes. And then back in through the left, out through the right, hold back in through the right. Hold.
Yes.
and
And
return
if
to
you
the
guys are
left.
getting confused at home, listen.
Practice makes
progress. Yes. And you can go on to some of the apps we've talked about before, the insight timers, and go into breath work and have someone guide you through it too.
Yes.
You can do that too.
You can search Insight Timer for Surya Bhatti, Nadi Shodhana, Chandra Bhatti. YouTube videos, if you're more of a visual person,
Yes.
YouTube videos can be very helpful. And there are many, many out there, which are nice as subtle visual reminders. I'm a visual learner. So even after I took this course, I do refer back to the videos,
watching it. Yeah.
As well as the written content that I have available.
That's true. That is true. So there's this guy online who he's this big like health guru or whatever. I think it's Gary Brecka. Okay.
Yes.
So Gary's got this. Have you seen his breathwork routine in the morning?
Yeah.
What is that called?
Really intense.
Really intense. But he starts every darn day with it, he says.
I have not watched him, but a couple of my friends sent me his link and said, please watch him.
Yeah.
So I'm not as well versed in which one it is.
So he does these huge breaths in, 30 in a row, huge breaths in, huge breaths out.
Yes.
Like 30 times. Then he does a big hold.
Yes.
And he does 3 cycles of that, I think.
Yes.
Every morning. His kids do it every morning. Every morning. He swears by like starting his day. And it's probably one of these energizing things.
I believe it's the energizing breath. And it could be what I'm thinking is the bellows breath. Because
it's big. I mean, his whole body's moving. Yes. He does that like 30 times.
And then
a big hold.
You hold.
Then he releases all of it.
Correct.
And does the whole thing again.
Exactly.
So he does like
and that one is
3 rounds
energizing.
of 30. And he swears it gets the old body going. It gets the cells working right. I don't know what the whole theory is behind it, but
yes,
I know a lot of people do that.
Well, I think part of the theory is that when we nasal breathe, we are increasing the nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
Which again goes back to what I was talking about as, a vasodilator. So what it's doing is it's actually opening up your blood vessels so that more oxygen can transfer through them. And it allows less plaque buildup because those cells are moving so quickly through your veins.
And that's probably why, so as I look through, all right, I got down that people have used breathwork to help with digestive problems, headaches, high blood pressure, insomnia, sexual dysfunction, weakened immune systems. And this is probably part of what, if you're thinking, probably part of it is all the things happening to all the cells in your body through this breath work.
Correct.
You're getting these hormone releases.
Correct.
You're getting endorphin releases.
Correct.
You're also detoxing. You're getting toxins. You're like, what do you say? The carbon dioxide.
Yeah. When you do the carbon dioxide dump, you're actually pushing all that carbon dioxide out. So by not breathing correctly or breathing shallow, you're holding that carbon dioxide.
Too much carbon dioxide. We got to get it out.
Yes.
And that's probably why it's helping with heart condition, all these things.
Yes. Yes.
And I just think it's so cool that it's something we can control for free.
Yes. And don't get me wrong. Like, I will be the first person to tell you that we cannot always control any situations or circumstances that come up around us. I mean, that's not possible.
No.
However, the reality is that too many times we seek the answers and the fixes externally.
Yeah.
When we have the ability to turn inward.
Yes.
It's that mindful choice to do so.
Yeah.
And we have 2 really powerful tools at our fingertips at all times. And that's our heart, which is pumping blood and oxygen for us voluntarily.
Yep.
And our lungs, which are promoting a better oxygen exchange voluntarily.
Okay.
So remember always that in those moments of stress, we may think we need to make a choice to reach out externally.
Mm-hmm.
If we're mindful and make that choice to reach out to our internal self.
Yeah.
Look inward. The power to reset the nervous system is 2 minutes away.
No, that is really powerful. And so if you're one of those, you might be able to do this and not grab the Ativan and the Xanax, you guys. This is an external thing. Yes. And it's not just that. It could be food. Like for me, it would be food.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this breathwork is one of those things we can try and do and maybe cut off some of those things.
Correct.
As we're letting that all fall away.
Yes.
And we're trying to do better in our little health journey, life journey here.
Right.
This is one of the things we might be able to do. And then maybe, okay, I think I'm going to give myself breath work in a half hour before I decide I need the Ativan or before I go to the kitchen.
Yes.
In the pantry.
Yes.
Or alcohol, whatever your coping mechanism is, because there's science behind this.
There's absolutely
We're not just blowing smoke up your ass, you guys.
Yeah.
Listen,
absolutely.
There is a lot of research. This is one of the things that our amazing bodies we have control over.
Correct.
And we have control over it for a reason.
Correct. And our body is run by our central nervous system.
Yes.
And I think that's something to really become more informed about. Read Psychology Today, check out clevelandclinic.org, check out Mayo Clinic, check out, I believe it was Berkeley or Stanford who also did studies on breath work. There are multitudes of information out there.
And there's a couple books too. And you know what? I'll put a couple in the show links to get you started on your deep dive.
Yes.
I'll give you a couple links to a couple of really great books and then a couple links to some research. So if you decide like you don't know if you believe Lisa and I that yet, get in there.
Okay.
Get in there and just dive in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a proponent for being informed.
Yes.
Having informed knowledge before you make a decision.
Yeah.
Yes.
Figure out if this is right for you because everything's not right for everyone.
Right. And one of the books that I enjoyed was by James Nestor. Breathe.
It's yellow. It's in my stack.
Yeah.
Because after we talked about breathwork and did the show, I was like, I'm getting that book.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't read the whole thing yet.
Me either. But I've gone through and highlighted
go
parts.
in different sections.
Yes. And I just
that's a really good book.
I read it at will instead of chronologically.
Yeah. I do that with a lot of books. I flip in and I'm like, that chapter sounds good. Let's just start there.
Let's just go there.
Yeah.
Why not?
With the self-help books, obviously if it's a novel, you kind of got to start from the beginning with those, but yeah, you don't want to spoil everything. Okay. And so, yeah, we can all do this. So you have a little quote.
Yes, I do have a little quote.
So let's share this quote.
Lisa Oliveira writes, all the healing, the embodiment, the self-care, and the journaling will never make you immune to being human. If you were having a human reaction to the world, congratulations. You are present, you're here, and you're paying attention that this is part of your human journey.
Yeah. Oh, it's quite the journey, isn't it?
It's quite the journey.
It's quite the journey, you guys. And so I feel like this breath work, you guys, is just another tool.
Yes.
To help us get through this old life and finish it strong like we're all trying to do here. And it's something free that we can take control of and kind of start changing our lives now.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And if you're embarrassed to do this in front of like your family, I'll do it in bed at night, but I don't want my husband to think I'm a weirdo. I don't know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever, do it. Find a comfy spot, your favorite spot in the house, the couch, the bathroom. I don't care. Yeah. Just start doing it.
Yes.
If you're at work and you're stressed out, take a little break.
The shower is a great time. Let the warm water run down your
and do
your
some
head
breath work.
And just a few deep breaths in and a few deep breaths out.
Yeah.
Even just
Probably
to ground to appreciate the shower.
Yeah. Keep it to the easy ones in the old shower, guys.
Oh, yes. I would simply
Let's
do the
not do the expert
breaths.
level stuff there. Go lay on the couch for those.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't want to do those. If you get to the point, because I know there's people listening in different parts of their journey. So if you're at the point where like, okay, I've already been doing some breath work and meditation, you might be ready to up your game and try some of these more in-depth ones where you get a little bit of that euphoric, you might get a little bit more out of your meditation or whatever. Yeah, you can, there's upgrades to this. There's not just one technique that works for everybody.
Correct. And again, I think it's all, it can be transformational when you're mindful of what you're going through.
Yes.
And if you know that you're entering a stressful situation and you need to ground in, then you know which ones to pull from your toolbox. Yeah.
Because if you even just get to know one or two of these, like I have just like that one that we talked about where you're breathing in, holding, doubling your, okay. I have found myself doing that and not knowing anymore. Like I've gotten used to it. Mm-hmm. And so I know to pay attention. If my breathing changes to that, that actually signals me, oh, pay attention. Something's going on. What are you feeling right now? Because you don't breathe like that on the daily.
Yeah.
So my body has gotten used to that then. And I'll go into that mode without knowing it.
Yes. That's
which is
amazing.
crazy because it's like a habit, like anything else. You do it enough, your body's going to be like, okay, when we're stressed, we breathe like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that'd be great to teach kids too.
Exactly. I started by setting a timer on my phone. So every 30 minutes, I would stop what I was doing and I'd simply do the cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, let it go. And being very mindful that I was breathing from my diaphragm and then releasing, not chest breathing.
I think there's apps for that too.
Well, there might be that I'm not aware
of.
And
I think it's even something on an iPhone because every once in a while, I don't even know what I tapped or hit, but it'll come up sometimes and it'll say like, it's time to be mindful and take a deep breath.
Yes.
And I'll be like, what? Where'd that come from?
Yes.
I don't even know if I set anything up for that, but it happened. I'm like, well, that's a sign. Okay.
Yeah. Or I know mine will tell me it's time to stand up.
Oh, yes. Stand up.
So when mine tells me to stand up, that's when I'm like, okay, let's take some deep breaths.
Let's take a deep breath when we stand up.
Another great one is if you're someone who works full time, so this worked very well for me in the office, is I would be on a task.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd complete the task and know, okay, now I have to move on to the next task. Prior to starting the next task, I would do cleansing breaths.
Okay.
So again, nothing intricate, no counting, no 4, 7, 8s, no box breath 4, 4, 4, 4. It was simply in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Just being conscious of your breathing.
Out through the mouth. Yes. And then give gratitude. You just completed a project.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay, now we're going to move into the next one.
Grateful for the little things.
Grateful for the little things.
We got to take the little wins.
Yes. It's the habit stacking, the water, the gratitude, the breath work.
Stack up and then our vibes raise up and we can manifest all the things we want.
And that ripples out. If it ripples out to no one else but your loved ones, then it's a win-win.
Enough.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to feel it. Even if they don't know it, they're going to feel that you've changed.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you're not so stressful to be around.
You got who's stressful to be around?
Yeah, who's stressful to be around me? No, yeah. So you gotta, Oh, okay. Well, we've learned a lot about breath. You guys got some stuff to do now. You got to dive in and do some. And Lisa's you're recording some stuff right now.
Yes. So I'm in the process of recording and I'll be releasing on Insight Timer. If not right before Christmas, right after Christmas.
Okay. So so you can get in there and start looking for Lisa's stuff.
And look for me on Insight Timer. And,
and then that way you have that guidance until you get used to doing stuff on your own.
Exactly.
It's always nice to have someone guide you through it so you know you're doing it correctly.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because I wasn't holding that 4. All right. I learned I was doing that all wrong.
We can practice that one again.
Yeah, I'm probably going to need to work on that one and I thought I was doing so good. Yeah, no.
You were making the effort.
Because you know what? I was trying something.
You got it.
Yeah,
no judgment.
If I screw it up, like whatever, my lungs still thank me for
making
breathing deeper.
You got it. You got it.
No, I love it. Okay, we've learned so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
No, this is good stuff, you guys. So let's all just make it a goal. Whatever day you're listening to this, make it a goal tonight to just try and do a couple cleansing breaths before you go to bed. That's it. That's the whole goal. Do some of those nice grounding. Is that what we called them? Grounding, cleansing breaths.
Grounding, cleansing breaths.
Do a couple right before you go to make dinner, or try doing a couple before you go to bed. Right?
Yes.
A couple when you wake up. Just start with that.
Absolutely.
Then get more technical about how many minutes you're breathing in and breathing out and holding.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
We got this. This is easy. It's free. And everybody can do it. God gave us this gift so we could use it.
Right. And who doesn't like to be in control? And this is one
I
very
love
healthy
control.
thing we can be in control of.
Oh my God, I love being in control. It's a problem, actually. But when it's in control of our own selves and our own life, that's a good one. That's a good control, you guys.
You got it.
Don't force your relatives to start doing breath work because you said so.
They may just follow you naturally.
To it. And what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think these generations after us are really more into this anyway.
Yes.
Because I was talking about breath work with like my nephew who's in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And he already knew some of these techniques.
Yes.
Like they're already teaching them, whether it's through like athletics, through anything, like whether if you're already in therapy, these are therapeutic techniques that therapists are training.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people that already, they aren't going to look at you funny if you start doing breath work. They're going to know exactly what you're doing.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's never too late to start. Doesn't matter how old you are.
Never too late.
Never too late to get healthier.
I wish I knew this in my teens.
Me too. Oh, if we'd have been doing this whole time. Imagine. Everybody, anybody young out there, listen, get on it. You're not going to listen to me because I didn't listen to older people either, but you should. Get on it. All right. Well, thank you, Lisa. You got to come back and tell us more about the somatic as soon as you get into that.
Yes.
Or anything else.
Yes.
That'll be good.
That and the meditation and doing the meditation and the breath work syncing together.
No, that's important. That's good.
Yes.
Okay. And you guys keep listening because Lisa's going to guide us through an entire kind of a breathwork meditation thing on one of our Monday mini episodes coming up here. So you can play that anytime. She'll guide you through and you can play that anytime until she gets on Insight Timer. And I've told you guys about that app a million times already. Get it free. You can pay if you want more access in it, but you can do it free too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, it was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I know your time is valuable. And right now I'm feeling super grateful and totally humbled that you chose to hang out with me today. If this podcast resonates with you, could you do me a solid and hit that subscribe or follow button? That's going to help you out because you're never going to miss an episode. And it helps me out because you're never going to miss an episode. And if you have like 30 seconds more, could you leave a 5-star rating and maybe leave a kick-ass review? Thank you so much, and I can't wait to continue our journey on the next episode. Oh, and I can't forget the fine print. You know, the legal jargon. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. We're just two friends on this journey together, and this podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or any other qualified professional. You get it. See you next time.